Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Coach's Corner with Haley Burns, women's basketball coach, as part of Mohawk Super Online Saturday. My name is Wendy Mackey. I'm a past varsity athlete, and I work in the Alumni Relations Office here at Mohawk College. I'm so glad you're able to join us today. Remember to stay in touch with the Alumni Association by participating in different events throughout the year, or volunteering your time, or signing up to receive communications and following us on social media. It's now my pleasure to turn the mic over to Satbir Singh from Athletics to lead the discussion. Satbir, over to you.
Thanks, Wendy. As mentioned just now, my name is Satbir Singh. I'm the Sports Information Coordinator for the Mohawk Athletics and Recreation Department. How Coach's Corner will work, and I believe Wendy went over it a little bit, we'll do a quick one-on-one interview with the women's basketball coach, Haley Burns, and then we'll open the floor up for questions from the audience, which can be mentioned in the chat box. Again, it was a great first segment with Coach Brian Jonkers. We're looking for another great conversation with Haley Burns here today. Haley's first season with the Mohawk Mountaineers women's basketball program, but she already has a great resume on the coaching side of things. She's been part of the Kia Nurse Elite Under 16 team. She's been a director of player development for Excel Hoops Training Institute. And she did start her coaching career with the Brampton Warriors, winning Coach of the Year in 2010, which was her first season with the team there. And she's also been part of the University of Toronto Mississauga campus and Team Ontario. Haley herself also has a great playing career, played NCAA D2 basketball at Ashland University in Ohio before finishing her career with the Sheridan Bruins, where she won a CCAA silver medal, was named CCAA National Championship First Team All-Star, and was a two-time All-Canadian, three-time OCAA First Team All-Star, and OCAA League Scoring Champion. That's a mouthful of a resume to say. But I want to start right there. Haley, OCAA League Scoring Champion. Do you remember how much you averaged that year?
We're going back like a good amount of years. I think it was around 17 points per game.
Okay. And what year was that?
2007, 2008 season.
So speaking of that, what a great year that was for you. What made it so special and allowed you to be such an impactful scorer?
The team we had, like just the makeup of the team, we just had such a great group of girls who all had a common goal. And being around them made it very difficult to defend all five players on the floor, which helped me be able to knock down some pretty wide open shots and just be consistent. So, it definitely helps when you have five girls on the floor that are all very capable of putting the ball in the basket.
That's awesome. And this being your first year season coaching Mohawk coming out of the COVID pandemic, which we're kind of still in, but we're not going to talk about. What have you been impressed so far about the Mohawk campus and the college overall?
I think that the campus is actually beautiful. Coming on and, just only seeing the gym coming in to coach against Mohawk in previous years, or coming to the campus to play against them when I was a player, just seeing the actual athletic facility and the growth that's happened here over the past few years has been awesome. I think that the facility is more in line with a high performance culture and definitely suits the direction that Mohawk's going in. And I'm just happy that I get to enter the gym and get to coach in such a beautiful facility.
And we've already talked a little bit about your career, your playing days, but when we talk about playing in the NCAA, what was the best part of playing down south during those, I believe it was 2 years?
I did 1 year at Ashland, but it was definitely an experience. Going down there and just the way that they do things, like it's literally you sleep, eat, breathe basketball. You're up at 5 a.m. doing workouts. You go to class all day. You're back in the gym in the afternoon to do workouts, and then you're doing lifts or pool programs or study hall, and it's a lot of basketball. Definitely a culture shock when I went down there. But I think that the memories that I have from being there and just how hard you have to work to work towards something, I definitely take away.
For sure. And then you transition into coaching. What made you want to become a coach?
So the athletic director at Sheridan actually had a daughter who was playing basketball. She was in grade 6 at the time when I just finished my last year with Sheridan. And He approached me, I think maybe an hour after we lost in the semifinal at nationals that year and said, so now what's your plan? I was like, well, I don't know. We just lost. So I don't know. And he said, well, I want you to coach my daughter. And I think it took me maybe a couple hours to think about it and say, hey, yeah, I think, you know what, I want to get into this coaching thing. So he asked me, and then that summer I was coaching her.
That's awesome. So you're used to going from coaching a game literally just now to this interview. I think that was probably a more difficult situation being put in, being asked to get into coaching after playing a game.
Yeah.
So what's been the hardest transition from playing to coaching, if there even was a hard transition there?
Oh, there was. I think that taking the mindset of being a player out of my mind, and it's totally different when you're a player and you have that player's mindset and how you talk to your teammates and how you're trying to get the best out of your teammates as a player standpoint. Transitioning from a coach, and now you're trying to from a coach to a player, it's a different dialogue. And I think for me, there were certain times where I was like, well, I would never do that. Right. And then you have to remember, you have to take a step back and say, well, no, you're the one that has to teach them how to do the things you did. Or, you have to take those step backs and say, listen, you can't talk to them player to player. You have to talk to them coach to player in order to get the best out of them. So that transition for me was a little bit difficult at the beginning, especially the age group that I was coaching at back then.
And what's been your favorite part about coaching? You can say a thing about coaching or memory coaching so far.
I have a couple memories, but definitely the biggest thing for me with coaching and what I love about it is that when you see girls do things that you've taught them, and they go out and apply it and they're successful, and just seeing the success of your athletes when you've taught them how to do things is the most rewarding feeling that I think I could possibly have when it comes to coaching. Like today, in today's game, there was an instance where I drop a play, they go in and execute, and we score right before halftime. To me, those are the moments that it's a feel good moment as a coach. But I think the biggest memory I have actually happened this past summer. Definitely trumped a lot of things. I got to coach in the semifinal for the EYBL national championships. For a chance to coach on ESPN, which would have been really cool. We lost by, I think, 6 down the stretch, but then got to coach in the bronze and we won the bronze medal. So I think that was a really big experience for me that I take away.
There's a chance ESPN picks up this interview and we'll get on there. All right. So when we talk, going back to the collegiate basketball, states versus Canada, what are the biggest differences that you've been able to experience and some similarities you've been able to experience?
Yeah, I think similarities is coaches all have the same mindsets. When it comes to coaching and at the college level, every coach is going to push you to your limits to get the best out of you. So that's definitely a similarity, but there's a drastic difference between, going down there, you're training like 20 to 25 hours a week. Whereas here it's just not extensive of being in the gym and training and practices and things like that. I think that's the biggest difference that I've noticed between collegiate and the States in here.
And you've been forewarned about this question, so I think you're probably prepared, but you have to pick now that you're coaching at Mohawk and former player at Sheridan. What are you picking? Mohawk or Sheridan?
Mohawk all day.
We just have to make sure that, we've got that whole Sheridan out of the picture now.
Absolutely.
So when you're looking ahead to the schedule now, I guess Sheridan's probably on top of the list of teams you want to play, but are there any other colleges that you look forward to playing against?
Yeah, I mean, all the top ones. I just, I want to go out and I kind of want to, compete. Like, I just want to compete with all the top colleges. I want us to be one of those teams that another coach is sitting there saying, yeah, I want to be able to compete with Mohawk women's basketball. So I think it's the old saying, right? You got to beat the best, be the best. So that's where I'm at right now.
Will there be an extra chip on the shoulder when it's Sheridan though?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Awesome. And you took over the Mohawk program, I guess, in 2020, COVID-19 pandemic. What was the most challenging part of, trying to start your coaching tenure with a program while you can't even see your players? physically you're probably meeting over Zoom and stuff.
Yeah, it was challenging. Just keeping everyone engaged. The uncertainty of whether or not we're going to be on the court to even train times, just kind of making sure that everybody mentally was okay throughout the COVID pandemic. We did team bonding. We tried so many different things. We did a Zoom cooking class with the women's volleyball team. We had people come in to do workshops with us on nutrition. We played games over Zoom. We did one night. We did one of those escape rooms over Zoom. Just had to solve different, riddles and things like that. And we got creative with it, but it was a struggle. Just as far as trying to keep players engaged when they're not playing, and then constantly reminding them, like, at some point we're going to get back on court, and when we do, it's going to be amazing. It was hard. It was difficult.
You're stuck in a room in real life. What player on your team are you choosing after now seeing it over Zoom? Who are you choosing to help you get out of a trap room?
Out of an escape room? It's a great question. I'd have to take Lauren.
Okay.
Yeah, Lauren Snyder. I would definitely have to take her. I mean, she had a 98% average last year, so I would definitely take Lauren.
Obviously, you guys get your first win of exhibition play today against George Brown. It was a really good game for both teams for your team, from start to finish. What did you like about your team's performance today?
Today, I love the fact that we got after rebounds. I think our first two games, we struggled a little bit with the rebounding piece, and we got back in the gym and worked at it for the past week and a half. And they definitely translated into today's game. We ended the game with 69 rebounds overall, which I just thought we did such a terrific job getting after the boards today. All around from, positions, point guard through to center. Everybody got their hand on a rebound today.
And looking ahead to the year overall, obviously a very long exhibition schedule before you guys actually play regular season into 2022. What can we expect from your women's team going forward?
I think just that compete level is just going to keep elevating. I think getting this first win for them and tasting what it feels like to get a win at the college level, I think that they're going to want more of it. I think that the tenacity of our team is going to elevate. I think that the effort is going to elevate. And I think that we're just going to see a much more grittier team that just gets after the ball and gets into the paint to get touches in the paint and put the ball up.
And I know coaches never want to just pinpoint one player. You're about having the full roster. But if you had to pick some key athletes on your team this year that our Mountaineers can look forward to watching this year that might become a fan favorite, who are you kind of highlighting?
I think Selena Chung, she's one of our first years. She's a very lengthy athletic guard. Today she finished the game with 8 points and 13 rebounds and 5 assists. She kind of just is all over the place, and she can score from the three. She can get into the paint and score. She loves to jump for rebounds and jump over people to get them. I think that she's somebody that I think a lot of people will fall in love with the way she plays basketball. Tia Stiles is another one. Today she had 22 and 12. She gets physical in the paint. She's very good around the rim. Defensively, she's stepping it up. Lauren Snyder is just a defensive monster. She averages 2 charges a game, always sacrificing her body for the benefit of the team. She's definitely exciting to watch defensively.
And those who don't know, Lauren Snyder, double athlete, played for the women's soccer team as well. So she's around campus for sure, playing for 2 teams there. And final question, you're asked to assemble a starting 5 of some of the greatest basketball players of all time, NBA or WNBA. Who's your starting 5?
This is such a good question. I can mix, right? WNBA and NBA.
Yeah.
Mix it. So Sue Bird, hands down, is my favorite point guard ever. So I would definitely put Sue Bird at my point guard position. I would put Michael Jordan as my shooting guard. I would have Kobe as my 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Kobe at my 3, LeBron at my 4. And then the 5 position is such a toss-up for me. I love Shaq at the 5. I might have to go with Shaq at my 5.
Okay. All right. So you've got Michael and LeBron in there. Who's the
And Kobe.
and Kobe? Who's number one there?
Oh, definitely Michael.
Okay.
Definitely Michael.
I wanted to see where you landed on that spectrum there on the debate of who the greatest of all time is.
Oh, definitely Michael.
Awesome. Any further words? Any final words you want to make for our audience today?
I'm excited to be a Mohawk Mountaineer, and I'm excited to start my first season actually on the court with them. And I hope that a lot of alumni and, students and staff can get out to support us. And I'm always welcoming to, alumni coming out. I would love to get to know them in person now that, COVID's kind of going in the right direction where we can start to have people on campus. And I'm looking forward to just meeting a lot of new faces that I hope to see around the campus a lot.
Well, fingers crossed in a couple of weeks or so, or maybe even less than that, we can make that announcement that community members are allowed back in the gymnasium to cheer on our Mountaineers basketball and volleyball teams. Well, thank you, Haley, for taking some time out of your busy schedule, especially after a game, to join us on this Coach's Corner segment. I want to thank Wendy as well for being a fantastic co-host, and a big thank you to our alumni for tuning in to Coach's Corner on this super online Saturday. We encourage everyone to head over to the YouTube live stream of Mountaineers men's basketball game versus George Brown Huskies, which is currently going on a few feet away from me right now. They're either in the second quarter or heading into halftime soon. So just click the YouTube link and head on over to watch that. And again, thank you for tuning in. We hope, again, to be making announcements soon that community members will be allowed back in the Deep Arc Gymnasium to cheer on all our teams, and we can celebrate Mountaineers teams together and put this COVID situation behind us. Make sure to follow both Mohawk Alumni and Mohawk Mountaineers on social media to keep up with upcoming events and much more. And from there, I just want to wish everyone a fantastic remaining weekend, and thank you again for tuning in.